Testing, testing, testing. There we go. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Dave Sabathney. I'm the president and CEO of the Western DuPage Chamber of Commerce. And I think this is the 5th time I've had the pleasure of being able to make an introduction at the State of the City address here in Warrenville. And as kind of an anniversary as such, I thought I would look up why we do this. And it is actually Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. In that case, they said, he shall from time to time give to Congress information of the state of the Union and recommended to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. George Washington was the first one to give the State of the Union address, and they didn't do it for a short time because it isn't specific as to annual. But thank goodness, back in 1947, they started the tradition and made it an annual event. I'm so thrilled that the states have adopted that, the State of the Union address. They have the General Assembly, similar to the joint meeting of Congress for the State of the Union address, and that the cities then take it on as an annual objective to make sure that they communicate with their citizenry. I've always been so excited about the prospect of local government. It is as good and pure as you can get. Most people know where Mayor Brummel lives. We don't suggest you go to his house. He keeps regular hours here. But your elected officials are as close as they get. You can talk to them. You can engage them. You can share with them your concerns and your frustrations and your challenges. And you can share with them, and we don't do it often enough, the successes that we see and be able to congratulate them on those successes. Now, some communities are very challenged when they have to come and give a state of their city or their village addresses because they have been faced with challenges. That is not the case here in Warrenville. I would suggest that if he would be required to give one every month, there are enough great things to talk about each and every month that he would be thrilled to do so. But with no further ado, let's get on with that and help me welcome your mayor, Mayor David Brummel, for the State of the City address.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it very much. Well, good evening and welcome. I appreciate your attendance this evening, and I also appreciate in advance your attention. I'd also like to thank the Western DuPage Chamber of Commerce for providing the hospitality and the goodies that we enjoyed on the way in tonight. So I'm going to start with a small confession. Sitting down to actually write the script for this event is probably the mayoral task I embrace with the least amount of enthusiasm. Presenting it to you is always enjoyable and rewarding, so I guess that balances things out a bit. But the actual process of putting together a comprehensive look at Warrenville, encompassing what was, what is, and what we would like to be going forward in a colorful and interesting way, is always a daunting task. You'll have to be the judges of my success in this, my 11th effort, so I ask you, be kind, would you? Over the past 11 years, I have covered every theme and issue in some way. Several I have visited multiple times. It's always my goal to add to the narrative of our community in some meaningful way, not just recite to you a list of facts and accomplishments, as important as they may be. I comfort myself in the conviction that some things need to be revisited regularly, reflected on thoroughly and thoughtfully, with conclusions formed, insights acknowledged, and intentions confirmed or altered. Warrenville's narrative continues to be written, and hopefully the results of this regular introspection are helpful in guiding us in how we approach the future. So if some of this sounds familiar, I guess that's good. Every year has new and unique challenges, but some issues and themes must be faced with each new year because they are always with us. There is one clearly that is my fondest, which I visit revisit, ponder, kick around, highlight, reflect on, and generally pursue with vigor again and again. It is a concept that gives us no peace in our personal lives and provides endless anxiety, drama, and spirited discussion in the life of our community. It is sometimes eagerly anticipated, but more often than not resisted, or only grudgingly accepted, but cannot be avoided. So let's start tonight by visiting one of my favorite themes again. I arrived at my office one day a couple of weeks ago to find a plain brown envelope sitting on my desk with only Mayor Brummel written on the label. Not unusual, and probably no cause for alarm, as it was not a package wrapped in plain brown paper with Mayor Brummel printed in a shaky hand, caps mixed with lowercase, and dripping red ink that emitted a faint ticking sound. Thank goodness for that. I get notes from citizens frequently. Some want me to make a traffic ticket go away. Others solicit my intervention in some difficulty concerning compliance with one of the city's ordinances. Others solicit my endorsement for a job seeker pursuing employment with the city. Some are looking for relief from a fine that has been assessed, claiming an inability to pay or unfair enforcement. While I'm sympathetic to some of these requests, my responses do not vary. I cannot make tickets go away. I would never consider suggesting to staff that they do not follow our ordinances. I do not get involved in the hiring of employees, and I cannot reverse judicial decisions. That is not the Warrenville way. As it turned out, the contents of this envelope were of the pleasant kind, a friendly note of appreciation as well as a photograph. The note was from Sue and Chuck Lohenry, and the photo was a beautiful view of the Warrenville Dam taken by Chuck a few years back. Every once in a while, out of the blue, someone's thoughtfulness and kindness help make these mayor's shoes a little easier to walk in. Thanks, Sue and Chuck. The photo is now framed and will adorn my office as long as I get to choose what gets to be displayed there. The photo got me to reminiscing, an occupation I find myself indulging in more as time passes, about the dam and about a couple of other things. When we built our home on Forest Lane in 1975, the street was barely 2 ruts of gravel, replete with overly generous supply of potholes, snaking into the woods with 4 houses straddling it. It had its charm, but I was much younger. I didn't mind being the de facto road commissioner who procured 10 yards of gravel twice a year and with wheelbarrow and shovel filled the ever-emerging potholes. I didn't even mind spending an entire Sunday one winter in the late 70s shoveling the lane free of deep snow that just kept falling. It finally became so deep that the fellow we hired to plow it for us had nowhere to push the snow anymore. So we had to move it by hand. And we neighbors got together and shoveled all day. I actually have a fond memory of that day, but as I said, I was much younger. I can still picture our charming little Williams Road bridge of the 70s, lined on both sides with huge trees, weeping willows on the east side and towering poplars on the west. Of course, the little bridge was only a few feet above the river channel, so periodically in a large rain event, the bridge would have to be closed to traffic as the river reclaimed the road. A friend used to delight in slipping around the barricades with his 4-wheel drive pickup and blasting through the water, creating huge plumes on each side, sometimes to the squeals of excitement emitted by his young son, strapped in the seat next to him. I still smile at the memory. My friend does. As a child growing up in Warrenville, I remember walking to and from St. Irene School from our home on Lorraine in the early 60s and crossing the Warrenville Road Bridge, always stopping to check out what might be floating by, but not for too long because there really was no room for pedestrians to safely dawdle on that bridge. It was fun to explore the abandoned dairy at the river's eastern edge, then amble by the houses that lined both sides of Warrenville Road, one of which belonged to the famed Albrights. As I climbed the hill east of the bridge, I wondered how long the guy who had an old tow truck parked in his driveway with a complete car engine hanging by chain from the back was going to leave this curious combination there, rusting but somehow enduring. As it turns out, he must have been particularly fond of this enhancement, as it graced his driveway all through my grade school years and many years thereafter, only to be removed along with the house after he was gone. I wish I had taken a picture. The Warrenville Dam, along with the old Warrenville Road Bridge and the old Williams Road Bridge, all of which we lived with so long, now of course are gone, save for our memories of them and photographs. The dam, a civilian conservation corps project from the 1930s, while photogenic, was detrimental to the health of the river and was removed in the interests of a better river and replaced by improvements with a far different feel, but a charm of their own. The new Williams Road Bridge, with its design homage to the old bridge, wider lanes, higher profile, pedestrian sidewalk, and new lighting, has been embraced by all and was indeed recently awarded the Best Public Works Project of the Year in 2015 under $5 million by the American Public Works Association Fox Valley Chapter. You can applaud at that. That's pretty good. The new Warrenville Road Bridge transforms the entry to our Old Town Center, provides significant flood mitigation, and along with the enhancements to the river and Leon Schmidt Heritage Park, completes the revitalization of the West Branch as it passes through Warrenville, refreshing, restoring, and opening to view the natural beauty of the river not seen along its length for perhaps 100 years. In case I lost you somewhere along the way, what I want to revisit with you again tonight is the idea of change. What we give up to change and what we gain, and what it means to be community. There's a saying that goes, something's gained and something's lost in living every day. It's hard to say goodbye forever to something that we identify with because of long association and warm memories. I miss filling those potholes. Sort of. Okay, not so much. My friend misses charging through 18 inches of deep water with his truck. We all miss the beauty of the dam. And admit it, the thought of a walk home from school over a river with a side trip to explore an old dairy, followed by viewing an outdoor folk art exposition, intrigues you. Fortunately, if change is done right, there are gains. A new forest lane maintained and plowed by the city has brought some very nice new neighbors. A healthier, more visible and accessible river, which is far less prone to flooding. New bridges, with much improved safety and accessibility features, arguably even more charming than the old. The key to managing change for our citizens and for the community's advantage lies largely in anticipating what needs to change, planning for how and when it will happen, and especially positioning ourselves to direct changes to align as close as possible with what our citizens have told us they want for Warrenville, informed by solid and professional guidance. This is the Warrenville way. Shifting slightly now, let's look at some recent community accomplishments as well as some of the many steps we are taking to ensure Warrenville's bright future. One thing the city does do well is to plan for the future. So thoughtful steps that have a positive long-term impact can be implemented. In 2015, the city completed a number of planning efforts, including a second strategic plan. This plan has 6 focus areas with objectives under each. Those focus areas include economic development, fiscal conservatism, open space and environment, city infrastructure, public safety, and diversity. This is the first time we have included an economic development element in a strategic plan. The city also developed its first ever compensation philosophy. This took a comprehensive look at what the city's goals were in attracting and retaining quality employees and how the city would accomplish those goals through compensation. 2 more phases for this project are anticipated, one this fiscal year and the final phase in fiscal year 2017. Mindful of the strategic plan focus area of fiscal conservatism, the city recently moved its employee health insurance benefit program from a fully insured plan to an intergovernmental cooperative. This self-insured pool allows the city to save money and earn dividends for good claim years. We are keenly aware of the need to enhance communications with our citizens. In 2015, the city launched the Just the Facts on our city's website. This feature is designed to clarify misinformation in the community and with, well, just the facts. Staff updated the settings on the website for news articles, Just the Facts, the calendar, and hometown happenings. So residents can get an email and text notifications when a new item has been added to these areas on the website. A slideshow was also added to the city's homepage, which features upcoming city events. Users can click on the slide and be taken to a link with more information. A translation button was added at the bottom of the page, enabling the city's website to be translated into a variety of languages, including Spanish. In late 2015, the city launched a Facebook page, as well as a YouTube channel for meeting replays. The Facebook page allows subscribers to get more timely information and to interact with the city directly. The YouTube channel features the programming on cable channel 10, but saves the city about $3,000 every year in web streaming costs that were associated with the previous vendor. Additionally, I initiated chats with the mayor, starting with coffee at City Hall on 2 Saturdays in May of last year, which I plan to revive again this coming year. There was also a mayor's booth at National Night Out. And in alignment with our rural and small-town roots and values, as well as to encourage healthy practices, biking and walking opportunities continue to proliferate in Warrenville. In addition to the annual Mayor's Fitness Challenge, which I invite all of you to participate in this summer, the city encouraged kids to bike and walk to school by doing National Bike to School Day in May and National Walk to School Day in October, with over 150 students participating from Bauer and Johnson elementary schools. The city's efforts to be more bicycle-friendly were recognized this past year, first by the League of American Bicyclists' designation of Warrenville as a bronze-level bicycle-friendly community, making it one of only 350 such communities across the country and only one of 3 in DuPage County. Secondly, Ride Illinois, formerly League of Illinois Bicyclists, awarded the city their Initiative Award at the 4th Annual Bike Summit for achieving the bronze level designation. Ever vigilant about emergency preparation, the mayor's staff, Warrenville Emergency Management Agency personnel, fire district representatives participated in a joint tabletop training exercise at Fermilab in the fall. This exercise involved evaluation of the city's response to a mock tornado incident and tested public information, operational coordination, mass care services, and situational assessment. Post-exercise feedback received from the county indicated that the city did very well, successfully completing all phases of the exercise. A few months later, many of the same people participated in a 4-hour-long training program, Municipal Emergency Operations Center for Senior Officials, at the DuPage County Office at Homeland Security and Emergency Management. A full-scale exercise will be coming up in March to build on the lessons learned from these other exercises. The city experienced last year and will continue to see a lot of changes in staffing. An evaluation of the Public Works Department service levels and staffing was completed in 2015. This study was designed to prepare the city for upcoming retirements, address the transfer of institutional knowledge, enhance utilization of technology, and better manage the increasing service level demands on public works. Those public works staff changes started coming fast in 2015. Ken Beatty retired from the utility division in September, and sadly we lost Dick Rose this past fall. Mike Smith, our public works superintendent, announced his retirement for the end of March 2016. Mike has given his best, and his best is the best, to Warrenville for the past 33 years. Thanks, Mike, and happy trails. Where's Mike? Mike's here tonight. The city also saw the retirement of Ray Atkinson, building inspector and unofficial Warrenville Goodwill ambassador, who left us in the fall after 15 years of helping to make good things happen in our town. Thanks, Ray. Your nail pouch is eager to you to be reacquainted again. The city's senior code enforcement official also resigned, which gave the city the opportunity to restructure the Community Development Department Building Division, creating a new position of Chief Code Official, which was just recently filled. Residents will continue to see evolution of the staff in Public Works and the Building Division over 2016. Our Community Development Department and its director, Ron Menser, have been especially busy taking care of current business while anticipating future development. In the coming year, we will finally see the actual movement of dirt on the former Musselman factory site. Soon to be known as Settlers Point. We have obtained our no further remediation letter required for residential development from the IEPA and finalized the redevelopment agreement with David Weekley Homes for the sale and redevelopment of this 4.25 acre site with 34 small lot detached single family homes in the $325,000 to $450,000 range. Preliminary plan unit development plans for this project have been approved by the City Council, and the subdivision is projected to have an estimated total value of $12 million when complete. This is a very exciting development for the future of our Civic Center campus, as it will support economic development and help move revitalization of the Civic Center a step closer to reality. The TIF number 4/Southwest District Sub-Area Planning process has gathered momentum. As a work program was defined, a consultant team selected, and 2 public input/information meetings were held. The first in November of 2015, the second in February of this year. The Southwest District is composed of 330 acres around the Route 59, Route 56 intersection. This area has huge potential, but faces too many challenges to redevelop well without the concerted effort and coordination of the city. To aid this effort, the city last year purchased 3.7 acres of vacant commercial property at the northeast corner of the Route 59-56 intersection that augments the 3.5 acres already controlled by the city. This assemblage will give the city greater control in facilitating and ensuring quality future private development of that area. It was very timely that Warrenville created and filled city's first chief code official position to oversee and direct building code and enforcement services, as 608 permits were issued in 2015, which is an approximate 30% increase over 2014. With a total construction value of $23.1 million, that's roughly a 50% increase over 2014, and 9 new detached and 32 new attached single-family homes were permitted in 2015, nearly a 600% increase from 2014, and just one less than 8 prior years total combined. So that's wonderful for our town. Warrenville continues to cooperate and coordinate with DuPage County on the West Branch Watershed Plan Addendum implementation. The city provided construction coordination support for the River Road Flood Protection Berm and Flood Conveyance Improvement Project, which included backflow prevention valve improvements, a new River Road multi-use trail, and Town Tap / Al's Pizza flood protection improvements. The city also worked closely with DuPage County on the realization of the Warrenville Road Bridge replacement project, including city-requested aesthetic improvements, which I hope you've seen how they're coming along. The bridge looks pretty darn good. The city also coordinated with DuPage County, the Forest Preserve District, and private property owners on implementation of the River Re-Meander project, which includes a multi-use trail, improvements for 2nd Street, Leon Schmidt Park Heritage Park improvements, and additional enhancements to the new Town Tap Al's Pizza parking lot. The completion of this work is anticipated for this coming spring as weather permits. Again, emphasizing Warrenville's ability to work closely with other taxing bodies for the benefit of all, negotiations were successfully completed for an intergovernmental agreement that provides for extensive Forest Preserve District funded water main improvements in the Williams Road, Mack Road corridors, as well as for 3 separate trail improvement projects on Forest Preserve properties. Separately, the city secured a $563,000 funding commitment for the proposed Mack Road multi-use trail project. More trails are planned and partial funding secured to encourage our citizens to enjoy our community and the green space we are blessed with on foot or on a bike. Another example of the Warrenville way. And now, I'm going to say something that very few local governments can say. And this is Vivian's favorite part, by the way. Our town continues to have no bonded debt. None of the taxes we pay to the city go to debt service. Every penny goes to providing the services we are required to provide at levels consistent with the expressed wishes of our citizens. Additionally, every year since the citizens voted in home rule for Warrenville, the city has honored its pledge to abide by the tax cap on real estate taxes, limiting potential increases to the amount allowed for non-home rule communities. Reasonable, moderate taxes coupled with maximum value for every dollar, the very heart of the Warrenville way. Finance Director Kevin Dahlstad, with the help of his fine staff, keep our financials in meticulous order. The city earned its 23rd consecutive Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, an award presented by the Government Finance Officers Association. This award attests to the high standards and professional efforts of the city's finance staff in the area of financial reporting. All of this good news and reason to be proud, but we still have to actively maintain a clouds on the horizon file. The Administration Department, in conjunction with the Finance Department, spent a considerable amount of time and effort during calendar year 2015, charting a course of action to keep the city of Warrenville on sound financial footing, despite the state's budgetary standoff and regular threats to either eliminate or drastically cut state funding to municipalities. During 2015, the state did stop the remittance of some funding to municipalities by holding back state-shared motor fuel taxes and state-shared use tax. For Warrenville, the holdbacks at their height reached almost 5 months and $220,000 in total. But due to careful long-range city council planning, the city was able to utilize existing fund balances to make up for the funding held back until this funding was eventually released. Some other financial news is especially worth noting given the state of Illinois' totally irresponsible handling of pensions and the dire straits that many other municipalities find themselves in regarding local pensions. As of April 30th, 2015, the Warrenville Police Pension Fund is 67.33% funded, an increase of nearly 3% over the prior year. The city annually contributes the required amount to the pension fund, no vacations, and like all our other municipalities, has until 2040 to have the pensions 90% funded. With that in mind, for the past 4 fiscal years, the city has contributed almost $700,000 above and beyond the state-required city contributions, and will again make an additional contribution for FY 2016. Such additional funding is not the norm, which puts Warrenville in a unique and good category among municipalities. As always, Public Works, under the most capable leadership of Mike Smith, was busy in 2015. $5.2 million were spent on capital projects last year, including road resurfacing, utility extensions, and the replacement of the Williams Road Bridge. Thanks to Mike's skill and oversight, as well as the many hours in the middle of countless nights he spent staring at the ceiling, worrying about how to deal with unforeseen problems, all projects were completed on time and under budget. And consistent with the Warrenville way, wait, it gets better. Let me finish. And consistent with the Warrenville way, all were completed without incurring debt. There you go. Next year's budget contains $3.9 million for capital projects, including road reconstruction and repaving, as well as utility extensions. Again, no debt will be needed for these projects to move ahead. The big difference will be that if Mike has trouble sleeping, it will most likely be because he got himself overtired trying to do too many of the home projects he has put off for the last 33 years. Warrenville's police department, under the very capable leadership of Chief Ray Toronto, continues to grow in professionalism and service, all the while making Warrenville one of the safest low-crime communities in the Chicago area. That deserves applause. Some highlights of the past year include the retirement of Deputy Chief Dave Scharr and Officer Hal Borowiak. Because of these resignations, as well as 3 others, the police department hired 5 new officers and was able to promote Detective Dawson to Detective Sergeant and Detective Sergeant Leonard to Deputy Chief of Operations. Congratulations to all. Our detectives assisted in 4 major crimes unit investigations, getting valuable experience while helping other communities and using their excellent training. Special congratulations are also in order for several of our other officers. 4 have received life-saving awards. Sergeant Melvin in June for a drowning incident, Officer Puchalski in October for Narcan use, and Officers Snap and York in January for Narcan use. 2 received commendatory or excellence awards, Detective Sergeant Dawson and Detective Downey, both in February of last year, and both for armed robbery investigation. And Animal Control Officer Perry received a certificate of recognition in January for Narcan use assistance render. Again, congratulations to all those officers. 5 new police Explorer Scouts were recruited and trained last year to complement our active and successful Explorer program. And Warrenville's 2015 National Night Out Against Crime effort received national recognition for the 3rd year running. We attracted 1,200 citizens to Cerny Park, and our event was ranked 30th out of some 5,000 towns of our size that participated nationally. Well done, Warrenville PD. There were no labor grievances filed in the department in 2015, an indication of Chief Toronto's excellent leadership of our professional and well-trained officers. And I'm happy to report our bike patrol unit will again be out in the community as the weather permits with some improvements. A supervisor, Sergeant Komar, has been assigned to oversee the 9 officers assigned to the unit, and high visibility uniforms have been adopted. I hope to again participate in some patrols this summer, so watch for us. Please watch carefully for us. I also hope you notice when you are out and about in Warrenville, as I always do, how frequently we are likely to encounter one or more of our patrols. This is by design, and this visibility is an important component in the effort to keep our community safe. Those who might be inclined to commit a crime don't want to be seen. Frequent and complete patrolling of the entire community reminds them that they are likely to be seen here and encourages them to rethink their plans and perhaps move on. If you have received a traffic citation for an infraction, it may raise your blood pressure and do some damage to your wallet, but I hope you can at least find some cold comfort in the likelihood that as your fellow motorists pass by, they might be a little more careful to be safe drivers and follow the law, at least for a little while. I have mentioned several people already who deserve to be recognized for their contributions to our community. There are others, many others, who work hard for us throughout the year and deserve recognition. Thanks to our city elected officials, our staff, our many volunteers who populate our boards and commissions, other volunteer groups not directly affiliated with the city, and other taxing bodies that work with us cooperatively to keep Warrenville moving in the right direction. We very much appreciate everyone's contributions. Could I have a hand for those that help us? I especially want to thank our city administrator, John Coakley, and our assistant city administrator, Jennifer McMahon. Well, I got to tell you why. Wait, I want to tell you why. The stability they provide in our operations day to day, year after year, along with the benefits accruing to our citizens due to their commitment to excellence, their integrity, their service, their innovation, and professionalism cannot be overstated. There you go. Let me also single out Executive Assistant and Deputy City Clerk Alma Morgan, who, in addition to handling her myriad other responsibilities with consummate good humor and professionalism, does a remarkable job of managing my schedule. No mean task, always making sure the mayor knows where he's supposed to be and when he's supposed to be there. All I have to do is remember to check my schedule, and we're usually good. Thanks, Alma. Last week, I got to attend the groundbreaking for a $5.6 million addition to the facility of one of our Cantera corporate citizens. Tax Presso Technik is an international family-owned business started in Germany in 1975. They opened their Warrenville facility in 1998 when I was serving on the Plan Commission. It's very likely, although you have probably never heard of them, that one or more of their clever fasteners can be found in your car or in an appliance in your home. While waiting for the groundbreaking ceremony to commence, I had the opportunity to visit at length with the founder of the company. The conversation was wide-ranging and informative. I learned that they are and have been remarkably successful because of the quality of their product, their enlightened human resources policy, which attract and keep high-quality, loyal employees, their fiscal responsibility, and their careful attention to planning for the future of their company. All of this made me smile, and I thought to myself, those are all aspects of the Warrenville way. The biggest takeaway for me from this encounter was this very successful fellow's thoughts on change. Remember change? I told you I was going to talk about it. He doesn't allow his company to get complacent because they are currently successful. He knows that in order to remain successful going forward, the most important thing is to keep getting better, to keep pursuing innovation and excellence, to accept and, where appropriate, embrace change. The alternative is ultimately decline. There is no staying the same. I had to share with him my conviction that what he found true for his business has a parallel for communities. With the passage of time, everything sorts itself into three files, if you will. What was, what is, and what will be. If we're wise, we treasure what was, preserving what is valuable. We enjoy what is, with the acceptance that at some point we will have to let it go. And we hopefully embrace what will be, with the confidence that we have done our best to ensure that what the future brings will be an improvement on the past and present. I treasure my rich memories of growing up on Lorraine Street, of early Forest Lane life, the scenic beauty of the Warrenville Dam, and the two little bridges wrapped in warm nostalgia by my young, adventurous, if foolhardy, four-wheeling friend. But I'm really grateful right now for the talented, loyal, forward-thinking folks who continue to recognize the need for managing Warrenville's inevitable change and are dedicated to bringing us change for the better, the Warrenville way. Every time I pass over one of the new bridges, I can't help but smile. How about you? Thank you and God bless. You're very kind. Thank you. That was more fun than writing it. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming tonight, too.